and we'll get into our predictions for each series in a sec, but one thing I wanted to touch on with the Pat Bev, Paul George, Dame situation is like the way that Patrick Beverley was kind of clowning Dame. It's funny looking at Pat Bev where, I mean, he is a good defensive player. I'll give him that, but he averages 7 points a game, 4 rebounds. There was a segment earlier this year where Russell Westbrook had an interview after the game where they're like, how tough is it dealing with Patrick Beverley? And Russ was just like, Pat Bev tricks the whole media. He tricks everyone because he just running around there clapping, drooling like a fucking mutt dog when really I don't think he contributes as much as like people probably give him credit for. And I compared him talking shit to Dame. That's like Skip Bayless talking shit. That's like someone who's really never done anything and they're coming out and just trying to criticize someone who's great and someone who's capable of putting up 50 points. And then you talk about Paul George where he was like, we're sending you home this year. I mean, do you think Paul George really has a right to talk in that instance where Dame sent him home last year? He hit that 37-footer right in his fucking face, and then PG has the audacity to come back, hide behind Kawhi Leonard, and be like, oh, yeah, but we're better now, when PG isn't even the best on his team. I mean, do you think that that's justified for him to even say anything there?
Yeah, that's a big thing we got to talk about is Playoff P, as his nickname is, PG-13.
Yeah.
He's really never shown up in the playoffs. He had a couple really good games when he was on the Pacers and the Heat were in their prime, where he kind of pulled that series closer than everyone thought it was. But since then, he's been fucking dog shit. So this is kind of the year, like, he's healthy. He doesn't have excuses. Kawhi's going to be Kawhi. I think Kawhi's going to will them to the NBA championship if PG shows up or not. But if Paul George shows up this playoffs and just is dog shit again, like, he just has nothing to say at this point. He's been a big letdown. I mean, he's always had really good numbers, and he had a couple really, really good seasons in Indiana, and then he was good on the Thunder for a year. But, man, like, it's the same shit. He doesn't really have anything he could say.
Right. Yeah, I think I was listening to a few different shows where they poked holes in his argument where he hasn't been out of the first round since 2014. Like you mentioned, he was great for the Pacers. He was so young, too. He was like 23, 24, just going at LeBron and, like, one-upping him or playing just as well as him in almost every
Yeah, that Pacers team was really loaded too. That was a different NBA, but that was when having Roy Hibbert and David West was actually like a legitimate thing, when big guys actually meant something.
And Lance
Now you look at that team now compared to if they played the Rockets in today's NBA, they'd be running around.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
just a different league then.
Yeah.